Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a T-22. It's a Soviet Tier 10 reward medium. It's located on the north spawn of Malinovka, and this one is under the command of FiliPer1n0. Well, it appears that he's not going to go up the hills just yet because I think he wants to get a quick shot at a light tank. He thinks that somebody's hiding in the bush over there. The EBR-105s are being shot at, and they might be being spotted by their own kind. Nice shot on the TVP-353. Now this tank carries a 100mm gun, which is capable of 320 alpha, and with the standard APCR it will penetrate 264mm of armour. With the heat rounds it will go through 330. This tank is really all about the gun because it's got quite a good DPM, 2,670 hit points per minute. Now, the T-22 is not a tank you would have heard of much. Oh, there was an EBR sitting in that bush, and he spots a Heshbarn, or rather the EBR-105 spots a Heshbarn, and he gets a shot in. But if he's not careful, move behind that rock, he might actually receive a round. That's better. Okay, yes, the T-22 is not a tank you may be familiar with because it's actually a reward tank, a premium tank, and they haven't given out a huge number of them. I'm not sure what it was a reward for, but it is fairly rare, and it was, when it first appeared in the game, a bit unbalanced, and so they had to nerf it considerably. Basically, you could say that it's a medium tank development after the end of the war, but well, after the T-54 and T-55 were developed, and it didn't go anywhere because, well, the next tank that they designed, which was the successor, was the Object 907, and that didn't get into production as a replacement for the T-54 or T-55 either. So it's kind of like the Object 907, a little weaker in the armour, very strong on the gun, good mobility, good gun, good DPM, good gun handling, so it's very deadly, but it's a bit of a throwback, you might say. In fact, you can see that in the shape of the hull and the turret. It's a very well-rounded turret, very much like the 907 in that sense, that the turret is designed to throw off the shells. If you've got a 907, you know how good they are. If you haven't got a 907, you probably want to get one because they are absolute monsters on the battlefield. Very mobile, very good shooters. Nice shot. Second shot into the M48 pattern. You got 301 on that one, which is a low roll. Doesn't get that shot into the ST2. Trying to get another one lined up, but he can't see him now. Oh, there he is. And he goes into the engine bay for 282, which is a very low roll. Trying to get another one in. Yeah, got that one in as well, but another low roll. The TVP hit earlier in the game. There he is. And he took a round before he could get back below the ground depression. And now we're being threatened by this EBR-105. We need our own EBR to jump on him quickly. But it appears he's being very reluctant to do anything, and I think that might be because the EBR has got support. And that's a very high roll, 433. And he takes a clobbering round from the Chinese 121 and another round from the M48 pack behind him. So, yeah, he has to abandon this position. So if he stays there, he's going to get plastered from all different directions. The Japanese STB-1 just put a 105mm into him, and he's having to pull back as quickly as he can. He's telling the EBR-105 to retreat as well. So he has clocked up just under 3,000 hit points of damage, 2,900, but he's lost over, well, 2/3 of his hit points already, and that puts him at a bit of a disadvantage. But there again, he is FiliPer1n0, so therefore he's going to play regardless of how much hit points he has and still get the enemy. One of the quirks of this tank is actually that it can reverse side scrape, and that's a medium tank reverse side scraping. Normally medium tanks don't have much armour at the rear, and so you don't really want to reverse side scrape, but this tank actually has 100mm of armour at the front and 80mm at the rear, so it's just as easy or just as capable of reverse side scraping as it is front side scraping. Manticore takes a round, but a low roll for 318. Only just a low roll though. He's headed this way and he spotted us. So we have to move because otherwise we are going to take fire. There is an Arty on the enemy team. Puts one into the Manticore. High roll as he's retreating. We can still be spotted by the enemy and the Arty might be trying to get a shot at us. Although I think he's probably focusing on the top of the hill at the moment. He's just too busy. There are lots of light tanks in the enemy team. Oh, chance of EBR. No, didn't get it. I think there's more threat from the Manticore than there is from the other one. Yeah, from the EBR. And he kills the Manticore with a really good shot. Now he's got to deal with the EBR. He will go unspotted to that enemy ST2 very shortly. But I think it's the TVP that's firing those shots in. You can see the ST2 approaching in the woods. Yeah, he's using the heat rounds as much as he can now to try and penetrate these heavily armoured tanks. Oh, and he kills the ST2! Now he needs to switch back actually to the standard ammo because he doesn't want to waste one of those rounds on an EBR, but he did. He switched back to APCR. Puts one into the STB1. Of course, that tank doesn't have very good armour, but it's very mobile. He was trying to work out where it's headed. Fires ahead of the EBR. It is a one-shot now. Yeah, you've got to wait until those tanks turn if you can help it, because when they turn, they change their angular velocity. They almost seem to stop for a moment as they are changing direction, and that's when you can smack them. Of course, everyone knows that. But when you're in a firefight and you can see an EBR going past you, you think, gotta hit it, and then you fire too early and then it changes direction and you could have hit it easily. FB4005 is a one shot and he's out the game, and that's 4 kills now for FiliPer1n0. There's 3 tanks down on the enemy. They lost a lot of tanks up on the hill. And the enemy do hold the area between us and the cap area. We do have a CS63 nearby though. That's the Polish medium. Let's have just a general look round to see where everyone is. He can't really see anyone because nobody's near him. He might be trying to decide tactically where he needs to go next. Effectively, the enemy is actually ahead of him. They weren't actually between him and the cap area. They were nearby though. They're just on the rise area. There's a 121, the Chinese 121, which you know is a deadly tank. And of course that STB1 is somewhere in those woods just up ahead. The TVP was last seen down near the water. Oh, STB1 went up the hill. And we've got a shot on his ass. Nice. Low roll though, 265. You go for another one. Lost sight of him momentarily. Might have been worth taking the shot, but I think he actually went behind a dead tank. And that's why he was in cover. TVP's nearby. And he does take a hit. Unfortunately, we lost the CS63 and now he's turning his attention to us. Takes another round, this time a high roll. So he's now got to think tactically and try and get the ground working with him, not against him. TVP takes another round. He's still a 2-shot though, and he puts a massive hit. And Amaraxas, we pump one into his turret. Need another 2 shots actually to kill him. There's one. He's trying to use the ground against the TVP, and yes, he gets him. That's his 5th kill. Now he's all alone and he's facing 4 enemies. In fact, he was all alone in a Kolobanov situation a little while back when the CS63 died. He's just taken a round through the turret from that 121, trying to get away. 3 very deadly medium tanks and 1 Arty, and that's a GWE100. Fairly immobile Arty, I must admit, it's a bit slow, but I'd be a bit worried about the medium tanks because we know that they are reasonably fast, very capable, especially the TVP-1 with its 4-shot autoloader and capability of blasting away all of those shots in 4.5 seconds for 1200 hit points of damage. No sign. Now if he does drive away from the cap area, there's a good chance that the enemy are going to try and cap him back. He puts one round into the 1-2-1, but he's going to take at least 5 shots to take him down. That one didn't work. He's now on the premium ammo, and that's all he's got left to play with. Oh, there's the Arty round coming in. Now he avoided getting stunned, but here comes the 1-2-1. He did track him, but unfortunately now he's face hugging, and that didn't work. He had 2 little hit points left to face hug a 1-2-1 on big health. Here's the end of battle stats, and sadly that was the second class tanker for FiliPer1n0 in the T-22 medium. He did manage to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he ended up with 9. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 5, 1 short of getting a top gun, and also 1/3 of the enemy team, as well as a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. He did get a tanker sniper for dealing the most damage in this battle at a range of 300 meters or more, and he got the highest damage in the game. So he was obviously very, very good with that lovely 100mm gun, which has got quite a fast reload as well. If we look at the team score, we can see that he did 7,759 hit points, easily the highest damage. The second highest damage in the game was actually done by the 1-2-1 that killed him, 4,564, and the third highest damage in the game was the Kramvan on the enemy team with 3,843. When it came to kills, he had the highest number of those with 5. 4 kills went to the 1-2-1 and 3 kills went to the Viz55 on his own team, and also to the Kramvan on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, I'm afraid it was the Kramvan who came out best on this because he did so much damage up the hill. 1,134 went to him, 915 went to the 1-2-1, 844 went to the Object 430, and the best that FiliPer1n0 could do was 672, but he was the top on his team. He fired 35 rounds, got 30 direct hits and 26 penetrations. The reason he didn't get so many direct hits than he normally gets is mainly because he was firing at those EBRs. And when they're moving very quickly across the field of path, it's very easy to miss them. And that's where he was getting missed shots. 7,759 hit points of damage, of which 3,606 were at more than 300 meters. So a fair amount of damage at long range. 8 hits received from the enemy, 6 of them penetrated, 2 non-penetrations. The armour's fairly thin. I think I did mention this during the battle. In fact, the thickest armour is actually on the front of the turret. It's about 230mm, a bit like the Object 907. Very thick on the front of the turret, very easy to bounce the shells because it's so well rounded. But the hull is fairly weak. It's only 100mm at the front, 80 at the sides and rear. He blocked damage of 640 hit points in total. Damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 5, 408 hit points of damage assist. On a free-to-play account, he earned 54,251 credits, got 15,000 from personal mission payout, and 4,380 because he did get some Battle Hero medals in a losing or drawn game. Total of 73,631 credits altogether, but he did fire a fair amount of heat ammo, and he did have consumables, and as a consequence he actually made a loss to the game of 67,979 credits overall. 672 base XP, 382 for the Achievements Award, 53 for this being a premium vehicle, and took away 1,107 experience points altogether. So he says, POV number 1, no one likes you. Not number 1, no one likes you. The thing is that the T-22 medium is a very rare tank, and if you see one, they know that you must be a very good player to get one, and that makes you a very deadly opponent, and especially with that sort of DPM, the fact that you can put out a huge amount of damage. The gun's reasonably accurate. The only thing you've got to watch out for is the armour. But of course, as you saw in this battle, FiliPer1n0 was able to bounce a few shots from the enemy that were coming towards him, only a couple, but the main problem was he lost so many hit points when he was standing next to that rock, next to the cap, and he had to retreat because the enemy were coming up either side, and even if he stayed where he was going to get holed from one direction or the other. So he had to pull away, and when he did, he actually did take more rounds. So yes, that's where I think he lost too much in the way of hit points. But it was a good fight, and he shows that with this tank he can probably get much better results. And I wouldn't be surprised if FiliPer1n0 does come back with some second mark, third mark battles in this tank, possibly ace tankers. Although getting an ace tanker in this tank is a little more difficult than you'd think, because as I said, it's only given out to the best players, so the best players know how to get the best out of it. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And please do come back for some more videos because we've got some coming out very shortly. Thanks for watching.